All right, everybody, welcome to our Sunday weekly webinar. Thank you guys for joining us today. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for your support as well. I noticed there's a lot of familiar faces in today's session. So if you guys are here for your first time and you don't know myself or you've never been to one of these before, my name is David Schinkel. I am the CEO and founder of Positive Traders. I run a free and paid trading group, and I run these free live sessions or free weekly webinars every single Sunday religiously for the past almost 8 months now. And we go over all the pairs that you guys see over here on the right-hand side. We go through all of those. We're going to take a look at the economic calendar. And I will tell you guys in particular, this week is going to be a very good trading week. There are some good opportunities. The dollar that pretty much moves the market as a whole made some good moves last week, kind of gave us an idea of where we're looking for price to head this week. So we're going to be going through that. As I mentioned before I started recording this, to those of you guys that were in early a couple minutes ago, there are three pairs in particular that I am interested in trading this week. So make sure you get your pens and papers out. Johnson, you said you're new here. Welcome here, Johnson. If you guys definitely need to have something to write down with. I mean, if you want to watch, that's fine. There will be the recording uploaded to our YouTube channel. You can just type Positive Traders in on the YouTube search. It'll pull up all of our videos. We have dozens of free training videos on there, all sorts of topics that we've covered. So if you're new to trading, you're trying to learn, and you want to learn a little bit more, I would definitely highly recommend that. And if you guys want to learn a little bit more about what we do, here's our website at the top left up here. It's just www.positivetraders.us. You can learn a little bit more about our paid group in there if you like what you hear today. So let's go ahead and jump right into things, guys. I always look at the economic calendar first to see if there's any things that really stick out to me. And this week, I'm not seeing a whole lot in the markets. I mean, there are we have some sporadic red folders, which is our high impact folders throughout the week. Tomorrow, Donald Trump actually meets with the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Trudeau himself. All throughout the week, guys, we got some CPIs, we got some PPIs, we got unemployment claims, we've got all sorts of CPI from lots of different central banks. Crude oil inventories on Wednesday for the U.S. Thursday, we have the unemployment claims for the U.S. So not a whole lot on the board this week that really sticks out. There are, Wednesday, we do have a pretty big batch of news for the dollar. So make sure that, if this is my time, of course, I live in Arizona on Mountain Standard Time. If you guys are in California, this is going to be 5:30 your time, or you live on the West Coast, it's 5:30 your time. If you live on the East Coast, you're in Florida, New York, anything like that, you're looking at 8:30 in the morning. All right. And then also Friday, there's another batch for the US dollars. So pretty heavy on the US news this week. So do keep in mind, when those are happening. If you guys are just new to following me, you guys will know that I do not recommend trading the news. So I'm not going to say, buy or sell right before these news come out. I think the best thing is to do is stand aside. It is okay if you're in a trade that's in profit before news comes out. At that point, it's up to you, depending on what kind of trader you are. If you want to take that risk, always set your stop losses to break even so you aren't losing anything. It's a risk-free trade. My recommendation is probably take your profits before, or just close your trade before the news comes out. So let's go ahead and jump into this. And I also do want to mention, guys, if this is your guys' first time watching this, this analysis is it is a weekly analysis. Of course, we're going to go down on like the 4-hour on some of them. We're going to go to the daily on some of them. But when I say weekly analysis, my intentions and my bias and my views does not necessarily mean it's going to happen today. It doesn't necessarily going to mean it's going to happen tomorrow. What I'm talking about is a general bias of what the markets are doing. So keep that in mind, but let's jump right into things, guys. Again, there are about 3 pairs over here to the right that we're going to go through that I think are some excellent trading opportunities this week. The first is actually gold. All right. So gold, we're actually on it right now. This is one I always start off with. But if we look at gold on the weekly, let me actually back it up just a second. Also, recommendation, if you guys are new, always start on the higher time frame scale. Start on the weekly, then scale down, right? Mark your key levels of support and resistance. Mark any trend lines that make sense. This pair actually have a lot more trend lines than normal. Some of these could be deleted. Some of these are necessarily needed, but it's just how I have my charts marked up. Big thing, guys, is we did hit this 50%, or not quite hit it. We got near this 50% retracement level from the previous, it's actually the 2016 highs to the 2016 lows. We have that fibbed out. We almost hit that 50% level, which is actually also in lieu of this previous support. And if we actually put on the daily chart, there's another level of support right here. It's kind of a little bit hard to see on the weekly, but you guys can see on the daily. Let me zoom it out a little bit so you kind of get a little bit more idea of what we're looking at. We have support right here, and then we kind of are hitting this resistance zone. Now, again, remember, I trade zones, guys, so this 50%, just because it says 1248, we didn't quite hit 1248. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to hit like 1248 right to the T. This is what we call a PRZ, a potential reversal zone, an area on the charts where price could potentially reverse and make, a reversal, all right? So I do believe that gold is headed lower this week. I think we're headed towards the 1219 level first, the 1220 level, and then probably lower towards the 1210 level. Why those levels? If we actually put it on the 4-hour, you guys can see just based off of basic support and resistance, we see that this 1219 level is our next level of support on this pair. We actually did push down a little bit lower last week. If you guys have been following the free group, I did say towards the end of last week that I was looking for some dollar strength. Now remember, anytime there's dollar strength, that means gold weakness, okay? When there's dollar weakness, there's gold strength. So the dollar directly affects what happens to gold, all right? So that being said, keep your eyes out for this pair going lower. Now, what are we looking for to take the trade? We're looking for some sort of confirmation. It is Sunday, guys. Remember, the market's just opened a little bit over 2 hours ago. So I like to let my personal trading style, I like to let the markets kind of cool off. I like them to kind of develop some sort of formations, kind of develop some sort of trend on the smaller time frames for what's to come for the week. So I'm not looking to get into a trade right away. I mean, if you were to sell gold at the beginning of when it opened a couple hours ago, then that's great. But I would wait for a little bit more confirmation, wait for another pullback up into this area, preferably before selling this pair, guys, all right? But I am expecting by Friday for this pair to at least have breached the 1220, 1211 area. So that's idea number one. We can go ahead and look at the dollar index. The dollar index is really giving us some good price action right now, guys, and this is the reason why I am bullish on the dollar right now. A couple of reasons, all right? So we have this main reason is this trend line, right? This gives us an idea of which direction the dollar is moving. Also, these fib levels that you guys can see moved out. We have our 2016 low to our 2016 high, kind of like and this is just like the opposite of gold, right? So how we fibbed out from the top to the bottom of gold, we're fibbing out to the bottom to the top on the dollar index. Now, it didn't quite get down to the 50% level like gold did, but it did hit the 38.2% level, almost to the pip. We found a little bit of a bottoming in this area, and so I think this pair is going to continue moving much higher this week. I mean, you guys can see gold is already moving very, very quickly. It's already, I mean, market's open at 1233. It's just absolutely going very, very quickly. But I'm not looking to get into a trade yet. Plenty of pips to be made this week. And more importantly, this trend line was broken. So not only did this support trend line hold previously, but this resistance trend line was actually broken last week. And we got a really nice retest. So we have this resistance, break, retest, went up a little bit, retest. All right, this is the accumulation of buyers in this area, and now we're moving up higher. So I think long term, we are looking for a big move on the dollar index to continue moving higher. I would expect this pair to continue moving up much, much higher. Definitely up towards this like area, maybe form a double top before finding a little bit of sideways movement and then continuing higher. Okay, maybe make like a giant bull flag and then continue moving higher. So that is for the dollar index. For EURUSD, I think that this is a good short this week. Remember that the gold follows EURUSD, and EURUSD does pretty much the exact opposite of the dollar index. Okay, so last week's webinar, guys, I actually told you guys wait to, we were in this ascending channel. I said wait to sell EURUSD until this trend line is broken, and we have confirmation. That confirmation comes in the form of a daily candle closing below this trend line. So last week we got that candle closed below this daily trend line, and we've been pushing lower ever since. We're probably going to continue moving lower. When you're looking for targets on this pair, we could actually, and you can see also right here too, we talked about last week that this green zone where we actually reversed around right here is weekly resistance. All right, it was a weekly resistance. I don't want to confuse too many people. Sometimes my charts can look a little bit hectic, but if you guys know what you're looking at, you guys have been trading for a while, this shouldn't look too confusing to you. We have this support zone in this area. And then, so now we acted as resistance. And then also, I mean, this is such a clear indicator, guys. Look at this, just just on the weekly, you know, just if you deleted everything off of here and you just looked at the candles, just the pure raw price action, look at this right here. What do we have right there? We have a ginormous bearish engulfing candle, okay? Not only that, but we actually touched that 50% level. We touched that 50% retracement level from this high to this low right here. So, I mean, it just makes sense. Markets move for a reason, guys. You know, you want to just make sure, keep your analysis clean, keep it simple, you know, keep it on the higher time frames, wait for those confirmation on the higher time frames, and then trade what you see, guys. You know, I really don't recommend trading on this 15-minute, the 30-minute, the 5-minute, those lower time frames. You're going to go crazy. You're going to end up being on the wrong side of the trade. You're going to be buying you're going to end up buying at the highs and you're going to end up selling at the lows, and you're just going to end up feeling like the market is against you. But you just have to be able to look at the bigger picture of what's going on. So I think EURUSD is a good short. So again, I think the biggest opportunities right now is gold. EURUSD is also nice. Also, there's just so many opportunities this week, guys. USDJPY last week, same exact thing, right? We were in this descending channel, and originally, right, because of these wicks right here, these two candles, our bias was still probably for this to go lower, but I said we don't really know what's going to happen. I said wait for these lows to be broken before we sell. Did those lows ever get broken last week? No, we never got those lows broken. In fact, we had this big blue bearish or bullish candle that actually broke out, so that gives us confirmation to the top side. So I am expecting this pair to continue moving higher this week towards its weekly resistance. All right, towards its weekly resistance around the 102 level. All right, so very simple this week, guys. Essentially everything that we're talking about right now is dollar strength. We're talking about the dollar continuing to strengthen. Sharjeel, you're saying so avoid scalping basically. I mean, I'm not a huge scalper. I don't try to take trades based on the lower time frames. I think it's better risk to reward if you really focus on things like the 4-hour, things like, you know, these lower time frames pretty much. So, I mean the higher time frames. All right, pound dollar, I'm not interested in touching right now. We are still moving sideways. Not a whole lot of movement in this market right now. If anything, it could be a little bit bearish, but who knows, because the pound is also kind of strong right now. We're going to be looking at pound yen. Sharjeel, you said USD strengthening. How does USDCAD look? Well, you stick around, Sharjeel. We are going to get right down to USDCAD. I just go straight down this list. All right, so USDCAD is right down here. We are getting there, my man. So pound dollar, we still sideways. Not a whole lot of movement. Not a whole lot of direction. I'm not very interested in trading this pair right now. However, the pound yen, though, guys, does look like there are some very nice opportunities. Wow, this pair has already gone up. Is that right? 120 pips already since the markets have opened? Wow. Yeah. So pound yen is rocketing higher. So guys, in the premium, just to give you guys a little taste of what we do in the premium group, guys, last week we actually took a buy on pound yen, hit 100 pip take profit, just to give you guys an idea what we do and why I keep my analysis so simple. So we look at pound yen, pretty simple, this trend line that's drawn out, right? We have a touch right here. We had this big massive resistance before breaking out. And then last week, if you guys watched last week's webinar, right? If you go back, the recording's on YouTube. You guys can check me. I'm not just saying this to say this, but this actually did happen last Sunday. Okay, markets opened right here last Sunday. I said that it's either going to drop and continue moving higher, or it's going to drop and then bounce or hit the retest, the backside of this support trend line, and then continue moving lower. Well, we ended up getting a bounce in this area. We ended up moving up higher. And where we took our trade in the premium group last week was actually right here where these red lines are drawn. We took a buy stop on this pair with this bull flag. We took a buy stop at 140.50 with the take profit at 141.50 right in this area. Hit our take profit in about 3 hours of very quick pips, but that's what I mean by we keep our analysis simple. I teach you guys just basic, not basic, but keeping it simple, guys, you know, just keeping it simple. So I'm expecting this pair to continue moving higher this week, but that is absolutely crazy. The pound yen is just flying through the roof right now. That's pretty nuts. So I am still bullish on this. I still think it's going to move up towards the 145 area this week. So this is another good opportunity to be looking at buying. So watch that. All right. So this is officially like the second pair pretty much that I think is going to make some big moves this week. Oh, wow. It's already moving. So wish we could have gotten into that a little bit. So New Zealand dollar, it's going to keep weakening, guys. I think it's going to continue falling towards the 71 area, towards this 50% retracement level. Why? It's pretty simple. If you guys actually paid attention last week, I actually posted this in the free group for you guys. This was a free trade to everybody last week. In TradingView, I posted this right here. I mean, you can't lie when it's on TradingView, right? It's right here. So I called this short right in this area. I said we're looking for it to go right down to the 38.2% level, which is the 7180 area, and boom, crashed right down to the 7180 area. And I still think it's going lower, guys. I still think that is just kind of like a good local target. I still think it's moving towards the 50% level around 71 and then potentially even lower. It could make that 61.8% retracement, definitely. So keep your eyes on this pair. But again, it's Sunday. No need to jump into a trade, right? What's probably going to happen is people get into sell right now. Then, I mean, right now, obviously, you never want to sell based on like what the 4-hour candle is doing if the 4-hour candle hasn't closed. This candle still has over an hour and a half left before it closes. So this candle can look very, very different by the time it closes in an hour and a half. That's why you guys have to wait for confirmation. But I am looking for this pair to go lower. So gold moving lower, NZDUSD moving lower. Those are probably two of the best trades that I think this week. But of course, EURUSD moving lower, pound yen moving higher, USDJPY moving higher as well. I mean, there's just all sorts of trades. Manny, you're saying a sell stop below those lows looks valid. Yes, 100%. Definitely. So a good trading idea is you could actually go ahead and put a sell stop just below these lows, like the 7170 area. I personally would put my stop loss a little bit above this zone right here. And then, of course, we're looking for at least a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So we want to bring it down to at least, I mean, I would be targeting like the 71 level, this area right here. So a little bit better than a 1-to-1 risk to reward. That's a great trade this week. And why do I have this green box marked out right here? Well, if we look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar on the daily chart, you guys can see right here, makes a whole lot of sense, right? This previous resistance broke out. Now we have this support right here, and now it's acting as resistance. It came back down, and now it's acting as resistance. This line is kind of like the line in the sand for this pair. So I could definitely see this pair continuing moving lower throughout the week. It could move a little bit sideways, guys. We could see some sideways movement. We actually could probably see a spike up and then a close back down just to see them stop out all the people that are selling too early. So yeah, just look for confirmation to the downside. Great opportunity on this pair this week though, guys. Australian dollar, US dollar. It's very interesting because normally New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and Australian dollar, US dollar move together. But when we saw the New Zealand dollar absolutely drop down, we did not see the Australian dollar move down as either. So it's kind of in no man's land right now. I'm not really interested in taking a pair on AUDUSD. I mean, of course, if the dollar continues to strengthen and we see New Zealand dollar continue to fall, then this pair should probably make its way down towards this trend line, potentially break it and move lower. I would be biased to the downside on this pair, even though we are in a bullish movement. We are hitting a lot of weekly resistance on this pair. We're getting up to that level of weekly resistance. But last week, I mean, we did form like a little doji exhaustion candle right here. So this could be hinting that we could be, have a drop on this pair this week. And then that type of formation where you have a bullish candle and then a doji and a big bearish candle, that's actually called an evening star, guys, which is a bearish candle formation. So, yeah. So we have no idea what is going on right now with these two pairs. Sheldon, you're saying AUD, NZD, negative to New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Well, I actually don't trade AUD, New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, so I'm not 100%. I mean, I'm sure you're probably right on that. I just haven't looked at the correlation on those two pairs before. So that is that. Next up is USDCAD, guys. So last week I actually put a trading idea out. Now this is why it's very, very important that you guys pay attention to the trading ideas and you watch them and you actually analyze them. Don't just, if you guys see a trading idea and it says break to the upside and it says that my idea is long and I have this arrow drawn, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. Okay. So I had some people message me asking me why, I posted this and then why did the USD CAD drop? Well, if you guys actually read down here, it specifically says consolidation, looking for a possible break to the upside. And I specifically said right here, recommended to use a buy stop to catch the breakout. That does not mean you just buy right here when I post the trading idea. That means you put a buy stop above this trend line and you wait for this trend line to be broken. So let's go ahead and play this. Let's see what happened. Did that trend line break? No, that trend line did not break at all. This trend line held. So if you had your buy stop and you followed this analysis correctly using a pending order rather than a market entry, then there's no pips lost. You didn't lose any money. So I still think that with the dollar strengthening, this pair could move up. I mean, we're seeing a big push in this pair right now, but again, it goes back to this trend line. We need to see this trend line broken. If this trend line continues to hold, then we probably are not going to see this pair move up higher, right? If this trend line holds, we're probably going to see it continue bounce lower. But remember, USD-CAD, it really doesn't matter how strong the dollar is or how weak the dollar is. It is directly correlated to oil. So if you guys, chart out oil, you guys can see oil has been in a pretty tight range for quite a while, right? We actually put on the weekly time frame. It's been in a pretty tight range, right? So that's definitely not a whole lot of movement for this pair. We saw this big bull flag, pretty much this big giant previous bull flag get broken. And now we have this just giant consolidation range. We did hit the top of this. We did hit the roof of the consolidation range last week. But, so if this pair moves lower, then that means USD-CAD is going to move higher. That could give us confluence and conviction to the upside. But also, USD-CAD is kind of iffy right now because when we look at it on the weekly time frame too, we had this big move and then we had this giant candle of consolidation. So this is kind of wave one. This is our corrective wave. So our first impulse wave, our second wave, which is our corrective wave, and we could be looking for a third wave down. So it's a little bit difficult to say because we are bearish on this pair right now. It is in a bearish trend, but it could break out of this trend line and move back up into this area. We could see it move up here, right? If it breaks this trend line, it could move up higher towards the bottom side of this previous trend line. Or if this low zone gets broken, we could just be looking at a giant crash lower. So I'm really on the sidelines with this pair right now. So I really wouldn't recommend this. Along with the pound dollar are probably two pairs that I'm not really trying to trade this week too much. Finally though, this is in the beginning when I mentioned there's three pairs that I'm really interested in this week. Gold was one of them, New Zealand dollar was another one of them, and USD-JPY is the third and final pair that I'm very interested in trading this week. Why? Because we saw last week, we started to see some bullish movements in the pound or in USD-JPY. It took a while for this pair, the dollar yen, to break out. It had a lot of consolidation down here, but ultimately we did go ahead and see a break of this trend line and a huge move up above support. So we're making our way up. I really do think, guys, that this week this pair could get up into the 115 level. I think that is definitely a fair conservative level for this pair to get to, but it's absolutely skyrocketing right now. It is just rocketing up higher. I would not get in until a pullback. Pretty simple, guys, to do your analysis on something like this, right? Mark off. Now that we've broken above the top, right? Mark off this previous resistance zone. Now it's going to be acting as support, right? Because it's now below where current price is, right? But previously it was resistance because price was below it, but now that price is above it. Look for a bounce off of this previous resistance zone, now acting as support, and then buy that pair. And don't buy right here because you're going to end up getting stopped out. And even when price gets down to here, right, we could see a candle with a giant tail. It could spike down, right? On maybe the 4-hour chart or the 1-hour chart. We could see something like this happen, right? We could see a giant exhaustion candle, and that's to knock out all the buyers that buy into this pair way too early. But again, looking for this pair to move higher into the 115 levels. So quick recap. Go ahead. If you have any questions, type your questions right now so I can answer them for you. But just a quick recap. Again, we are looking for gold to move lower. We're looking for it to hit our first target around 1220 this week, and then 1211 is going to be our target number 2. And then we're looking for New Zealand dollar to continue moving lower towards the 71 level, all right, which is going to be our pretty much right in lieu with our 50% retracement level. And then USD-JPY, okay, the dollar yen. We're looking for this pair to move higher up into this kind of this resistance zone right here. We might move this down a little bit, kind of this double top-ish area. All right, this is the 115 level. That's where we're looking for price to move towards this week. All right. Any questions, guys? Go ahead and answer. Go ahead. If you have any questions, go ahead and write them down. If there are no questions, I will go ahead and just upload this to YouTube as always. So it'll be up to YouTube within a few hours for you guys. You can watch it and just replay it as many times as you want. But other than that, we do have some very big news for everybody, all of our followers this week. We have something very exciting we are releasing this week. So stay tuned in you're a premium member, of course, stay tuned in Slack. If you're a free member, stay tuned on Telegram or our Facebook group. But we do have a huge, probably the biggest announcement that we've made since we started this group back in June. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys liked what you heard, if this analysis helps you out this week and you guys end up making some money and you guys want to take it to the next level, go ahead, visit our website. It's www.positivetraders.us. Okay, it's not .com, it's positivetraders.us. And yeah, in our premium group, I give about an average of 10 signals a week. I have a trade copier that you can connect to if you aren't able to take the signals and yourself. And we also do daily live sessions. So we do sessions just like this, a little bit slower, a little bit more in-depth, Monday through Thursday. So I do that live. And if you aren't able to watch it live, we do go ahead and upload that session right into your back office. So you guys will notice on our website, there is like a login area. So you can I'll actually show you guys real quick. Check it out real quick. I'll show you guys the back office real quick when you are a premium member. Don't want to give away too much. Let me let it load for a second. But just to show you guys, all right, so this is the back office when you log in. We do have our daily live sessions and private webinars right here. So you guys can see, I go ahead and upload them. They're all in here for you guys. I upload every single live session in here. You guys will see. And then we have all sorts of training sessions in here too. If you want to learn more about trend reversals and how to compound your trades. You want to learn about, let's see, invalidation. You want to know how to know if a trade is valid or not. If you're brand new to trading, you don't know how to set up your MetaTrader 4 trading view. I have a video on that, all sorts of things. We have what it takes to become a professional trader. We have a psychology webinar that specifically goes over, the thinking and the emotions of trading. We go over the basics. We talk about trends. We talk about Fibonacci, all sorts of in-depth webinars that you guys can go through, and a bunch more. We have a Forex survival guide for you guys, 22 pages. That's for free also. If you guys are in the free group in there, you'll see some of those things in the back office. But that is that. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate you guys' time, and have a great and safe trading week, guys. Thank you.